Hop inside an Audi, then I hit the dash. Shawty know I only care about the cash. Big guns, big sticks, big rash. She asked me how I got it, said I got it like that. I get it when I wanna. Smoking marijuana, keep it hotter than a sauna. Smoking till the sun up. They asked me if I have bands, I said bring your funds up. They texted me to a challenge and they didn't show up. Where they at though? Pop out at your party and I got the stick tuck. You just walked out on your skateboard looking like a dumb fuck. Mama told me get a bag and I said run it up. With the naughty and a jag, but I need a bench truck. I need real cheese, big ass peso. Don't fuck with me or this fucking bankroll. Got a 4.0 GPA on the road. Beating up and down the freeway, didn't pay a single toll. If you fuck with my money moves, I'll make it less relevant. I'll make all of these niggas mad. They might scream and cry and vent. I might stack up 100 racks and buy me an elephant. I might send you another fact. Could you tell me if it's sent? Hop inside an Audi, then I hit the dash. Shawty know I only care about the cash. Big guns, big sticks, big rash. She asked me how I got it, said I got it like that. I get it when I wanna. Smoking marijuana, keep it hotter than a sauna. Smoking till the sun up. They asked me if I have bands, I said bring your funds up. They texted me to a challenge and they didn't show up. Didn't show up, I'm knocking at your door, right? Taking meds till I pass out on the floor, right? If I need to step up, I say goodnight. Written on the ground in chalk, all that off-white. Put you right up on a shirt. I'll be damned if I never put in work. You a broke ass bitch, your pockets hurt. And I carry an Uzi, no vert, chillin' in a jacuzzi. My way, 90 on the dash, driving down the highway. Only care about the cash, what the fuck can I say? I've been waiting for the blow up, call me Pompeii. Hey, hop inside an Audi, then I hit the dash. Shawty know I only care about the cash. Big guns, big sticks, big rash. She asked me how I got it, said I got it like that. I get it when I wanna. Smoking marijuana, keep it hotter than a sauna. Smoking till the sun up. They asked me if I have bands, I said bring your funds up. They texted me to a challenge and they didn't show up.
Yeah.
23.
Thomas is mad. I'm feeling good again, but I probably shouldn't be. Cause the way I've been acting, but fuck it though.
Ayo, Babs,
Yeah.
this shit crazy.
Yeah, off in it, sipping on bubbly, we popping it. I'm moving safe like cautiously. You watch the way that you talk to me. My new hoe is a model. She wanna fly out to Cabo. I said just wait till I drop my album.
Girl, it's alright, I'm a hoe too. Just got a bag, I'ma blow through. I need some space, need O2. And I get the shit that you go through. It's probably my fault if I ghost you. I push away people I'm close with. Won't stand on and stand, I don't know shit. Yeah, we took a pic and I posted. I remember the blog I was posted. My red ring gon' shine like a glow stick. I'm like, can you swallow this whole shit? They riding my wave like an ocean. Wait, I can't tell the time on my new Audemars. I do this shit that gon' set me apart. Yeah, girl, I'm a savage. Yeah. So I got a bad, we stay at the top. Yeah, we came from the bottom. I got a script from the dark. Yeah, got Percocet problems. My haters want me to flop. Nah. Say fuck 'em, we ballin'. I don't say shit, but I miss you a lot, yeah. Say fuck it, I'm callin'. You better pick up the phone when I phone you. I don't go bro, that's the shit that my clones do. I don't show love to a hoe unless I own you. I wanna hold you. Don't always do the shit that I'm supposed to. If I act right with a hoe, she bad. Some things better in the past, though, yeah. But tryna bust this little bit from the back, ayy. Just tryna get my rack, ayy. It's alright, I'm a hoe too. You just wanna fuck, wanna get me high. Don't talk much, I'm slow too. Last hoe left, she ain't say why. Y'all don't really get what I go through. I just need space, need O2. Can't say why, but I chose you. My new drip finna get me fly. Girl, it's alright, I'm a hoe too. Just got a bag, I'ma blow through. I need some space, need O2. And I get the shit that you go through. It's probably my fault if I ghost you. I push away people I'm close with. Won't stand on and stand, I don't know shit. Yeah, we took a pic and I posted. I remember the blog I was posted. My red ring gon' shine like a glow stick. I'm like, can you swallow this whole shit? They riding my wave like an ocean. Wait, I can't tell the time on my new Audemars. I do this shit that gon' set me apart. Yeah, girl, I'm a savage. Yeah. So I got a bad bitch. I got things they dark. I took her home and I ripped her apart. Tried to show love and she ripped on my heart. Green around me like I should at the park. I smoked gelato, don't fuck with a cart. And I probably fucked this shit up from the start. I know what you been, I know what you are. Still wanna lay with you, stare at the stars. I just took a benzo, but I just wanna vibe with my friends though. And don't put me up in no friend zone. But can we still fucking be friends though? Nah. Probably not. I'm in the city where they really robbing. Show you the game, but you really are. Shit, it's alright, I'm a hoe too. Just got a bag, I'ma blow through. I need some space, need O2. And I get the shit that you go through. It's probably my fault if I ghost you. I push away people I'm close with. Won't stand on and stand, I don't know shit. Yeah, we took a pic and I posted. I remember the blog I was posted. My rep ain't gon' shine like a glow stick. I like, can you swallow this whole shit? They riding my wave like an ocean. Wait, I can't tell the time on my new Audemars. I do this shit, I gon' set me apart. Yeah, girl, I'm a savage. Yeah. I got a bad bitch. Yeah.
Hey yo, water boy. This shit wet.
We run it up for sure. That bitch go down no amateur. Run that shit, we at all the show. Say that shit for your camera roll. I did everything for it, so now we pull up with foreign though. Shot the top of the foreign now. We're about 2 or 3 foreign ho. Yeah, they calling us overseas. Didn't notice they noticed me. How the fuck am I supposed to see when I got purple glow on me? Since they calling us overseas, time to take over all of these scenes. Flashy nigga, I gotta be seen. Can I start, bitch, we cop everything. Taking off all the losses. Pussy boy gon' try stop. We gon' sit right next to use an option. Since we taking off for sure, they ask me what it cost. We spin off using off. Take no losses, I'm just being honest. We run it up for sure. That bitch go down no amateur. Run that shit, we at all the show. Say that shit for your camera roll. I did everything for it, so now we pull up with foreign though. Shot the top of the foreign now. We're about 2 or 3 foreign ho. Yeah, they calling us overseas. Didn't know that they noticed me. How the fuck am I supposed to see when I got purple glow on me? Since they calling us overseas, time to take over all of these scenes. Flashy nigga, I gotta be seen. Can I start, bitch, we cop everything.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Revival League Season 2 Upper Bracket Quarterfinals. My name is Retro and I am joined here for the first time here by Mr. Reference. Hello Reference, how are you feeling today?
Good evening. Glad to be joining you guys on the cast, other side of the Revival. I've been too busy making my way into the playoffs, so I haven't had much time casting this, so... first time here, just helping out. Got an offer from Retro to quickly hop in and help with this game. It does kind of have implications on who we might be facing next, depending on how our next game goes tomorrow, by the way. Tune in for that as well. And other than that, I'm just happy to be here.
Nice. It's definitely going to be very, very exciting to see this game and how that plays out, and then have all of that also go into tomorrow and into every other game that we have this season. But without any further ado, everybody is ready, the lobby is ready, and the game... and well, that's definitely going to be very, very interesting, considering what we've seen so far from both of these two teams. Blue Jays North Star, of course, REH Vertical Esports. If you've been following so far throughout the season, you might remember them under that name. Of course, they've recently been picked up by the Blue Jays organization, and I don't think that really changes much about that doesn't really change anything about how they play and how they perform, but it's definitely going to be interesting seeing them face against REH, who we know to be very, very, very good, very dominant on Oregon. But I've been talking about them a lot. Walk me through these bans, Reference. How you think about these bans?
All right, now that I can see them, Maverick, interesting ban. I mean, you see it for Attic a lot. As for the other bans, okay, Fenrir, Solus, both of them new operators, both of them very powerful. Seeing them getting taken out, not really a surprise. Dokkaebi can be very annoying. Also something that I understand being taken out, but not really any, except for the Maverick, of course, for Attic, not really any hard breacher related bans. So we are most likely going to see, you know, a Thatcher Kide play on basement. We're most likely going to see some tricking going on maybe on Attic side. So that's going to be interesting. But other than that, pretty standard bans, just going for comfort picks, you know, taking out what you don't want to play against.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and it definitely makes sense. But it's definitely going to be very interesting seeing how all of that plays out. And well, not really sure what's going on here. It's a bit of a laggy here, second. But there we go. There we go.
Defenders,
into
protect your
the
bombs
game
from being defused
and
by attackers.
into this first round as well. Okay, well, I guess now this is the perfect moment for me to mention the fact that we are today working with limited staff, which has already been brought up a little bit by Prince earlier, talking about how he indeed was invited here when he's not usually a part of our production team, and that is because we are just running a little bit low on staff at the moment, which means that I am having to cast, observe, and produce at the same time, and my controller's not working. So this is going to be very, very tricky to actually maneuver with just the keyboard without the controller in hand, but hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult. I can just figure out how to switch to the actual player. In the meantime, Prince, please walk me through what we are seeing here, them going for basement first and foremost.
Yeah, basement first, extended hold, extending into meeting. You can see a lot of reinforcements, an unusual amount of reinforcements actually brought over into meeting, playing with that hatch open. You can see an Ash going in from garage side, just droning her way into split, just seeing what information the attackers can gather early on into the round, and a very aggressive hold onto meeting, just really wanting to play around that hatch, denying any blue take. At the moment, there's only one attacker that I can see, and that's the one in garage, and going for an early kill as well. Slash is able to take down Pavlov very early, just challenging split and coming out on top. So we can now see REH moving into the building a little faster. 50 seconds off the clock, and already you have a buck inside of Showers Hall. He's moving his way up. It looks like it might be a top-down clear for REH. They're reading into this meeting hold, and they want to dismantle it from the top down, taking attic control. And we can already see Blue Jays. They've lost a player early. They're hurting. And so they've decided to pull back a little bit. They still have the Oryx roaming, but Mute is back on site. You can see in Smoke still playing top laundry stairs, so waiting for that fallback opportunity. Maybe shoot a drone, maybe just fall back. And at the moment, it's just a bit of a time game. REH just droning a little bit, making sure they don't make any mistakes now that they have advantage. And Blue Jays, of course, they've already made one. They're not allowed to make any more if they want to hold on to this round. So right now, just playing, I think, search and destroy at the moment. Just waiting for an opportunity to present itself, and so just waiting around. And really a whole lot going on. In the meantime,
yeah, definitely a lot of waiting. Definitely a lot of waiting, and as we can see, all of the roamers that once were have pulled back down to the site, knowing that they, as you said, they can't really make too many more mistakes going forward, as they've already lost that early initial engagement. And just waiting for the attackers to push into their crosshairs, and it looks like that might be happening here over on the side of Laundry in these main stairs, but there's quite a lot of engagements going on between the Oryx and the two attackers who are pushing up. And of course, this Ossa shield is allowing them to do just that. The smoke will hit behind the Ossa, so the Ossa has already made her way down those stairs, and the pressure is being applied from Freezer and from the back stairs as well. But of course, those smokes are still keeping the Habana at bay, the player with the diffuser, so they're not able to advance any further. Schnitt is well taking a little bit of damage from those smoke babes, and now with all of them gone, and with that Habana making her way further down, it might be a little bit of an issue here for REH Gaming, pushing down the Freezer, and they take down the smoke that was there, or the Mute rather, that was there with the shotgun up close. They've isolated this Oryx, and there's nothing that you can do about it. It's all down to the smoke. JM cannot do anything about it. REH take that first round in a bit of a scuffle there at the very end, where it really wasn't too clear how it was going to go, with a little bit of a delay there with those smoke babes, them not really being able to push forward. But I think that presence inside of Freezer is really what broke the round for them.
Yeah, I mean, JM just painfully trying to go for that knife at the very end of the round, not able to connect as he's a little too far away. I gotta say, for REH in that first round, really well played on that attack, finding the early pick, really not letting anything slide on the side of Blue Jays for the remainder of the round, and just waiting out some of these smoke babes, and then just coming in collectively and together, finding the right timing to all push in together, take down that Oryx, take down the player on pillar, having that Ashe on the late flank over on blue side, able to get the last kill as well. So really a team effort on that execute, very well put together execute to take freezer control, take deep freezer, and just completely overwhelm the site. And there's just no chance for the defenders to hold on to that, as they've lost a player earlier and they didn't really go for a play. They just tried to hold on, and when you're at a man disadvantage, that's not really gonna work out, especially on an Oregon defense. You can make it work if you go for a play, but if you do nothing, if you just sit in silence, if you just wait around for the round to end, then the attackers are not gonna let you do that in most cases.
5 seconds to
And
go.
so REH opening up the round very well. This gotta consider this is their map pick, so we're looking for REH to be the more comfortable team on this one. Of course, Blue Jays also picking their strongest map statistically, as map 2 will be Chalet. We'll definitely go there. And while I'm talking about maps, last one's gonna be Theme Park, and that one's gonna be interesting because it's gonna be out of the pool soon, which I'm very sad about. But for now, it's still in there, and so these two teams are gonna be playing it very soon.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be playing it. Well, you know, they might not be. I mean, it's the third map, and we really don't know where that's going to go. We've only played one round so far, and that really could go anywhere. But it's very interesting that North Star actually decided to not go back downstairs. You know, it really used to be one of the strongest sites in the game, definitely in the map, and if not even in the game. So for them to completely abandon that ideology and just go to meeting instead, which not too long ago was actually, you know, a tertiary site, something that people went to only because they were forced to after winning top floor and basement. It is very, very interesting to see them actually do that, and we could see the Frost plays up here and with those ADSs as well, but it looks like they've pulled back from that position as well, and they've just completely given that tower over very, very early on here for REH to take.
Yeah, alright. Half the round is gone, not a whole lot has happened. Again, REH going for that very slow approach, and Blue Jays not, you know, North Star not really playing actively either. I think we have a match of two very passive teams at hand. There's a few games, you know, where you have a lot of kills right out the gate. You have spawn peaks, you have counter spawn peaks, you have just big explosive plays early on in the round, big roams. But that's not the case between these two here. We just have REH just tactically taking control of the map, and you can see Tortilla, he moves himself in, gets the first kill, finally gets traded by JM up the hatch. But attic control has been gained by the attackers, and Slash gets another onto Kato. And so now with a minute left, again, it's man advantage for the attackers, and these defenders are starting to get pinched into the side. Gaps goes down though, so the split player Jaeger is able to find one more. Not going to be confirmed, they are going to pick up that guy, but Slash now goes down as well. Gaps gets finished off by JM, just quickly pushing up those back stairs. He was still down there, and so now we're in a 2v2 as Bunny gets Pavlov as well. With only 35, we now have a fight, a scrap in the middle of the site. Iana going against the Mira, C4 comes out, but Schnitte confirms him. Rota is able to connect onto Bunny as well though, and suddenly we're in a 1v1. Rota, he's 1 HP, he still has that C4, I think he picked it back up. And so now the Ossa going for that plant, able to stick it behind the sandbags, as Rota has to go for a big rotation all the way around. 40 seconds on the clock now. He needs 7 to defuse, and he has to hit that shot here. So he comes around the corner, and no, he gets taken down by Schnitte. And that's REH taking their second round.
Yeah, REH is just absolutely dominating this field, and it looked for quite a bit there, especially when the smoke was able to push up those back stairs and was able to finish off the thermite that was downed, you know, of course eliminating not only a player there, but also eliminating the hard breach, sort of cutting them completely off at the knees, but they were just able to bring it back regardless. Those scraps in that final 2v2, able to pick up the smoke over there on those back stairs in rear stage, and even getting traded out there at the end. But yeah, it was just a little too coordinated, a little too good here from REH, even in those sort of dying seconds where it really didn't look like it was going to go their way. I think that they're definitely a very, very good team for being able to adapt to really anything that goes on and really anything that happens. I think this is something that we've seen from them time and time again, especially on Oregon. And this is something that people who have been watching throughout the league so far for a while, they'll know how good REH are on Oregon attacks. Like, this isn't something that we're surprised by, knowing how good REH do, but it's still impressive seeing just how much they can do when it really isn't looking like it's going to go their way. Even in the first round where, you know, that entire scrap over at the bottom of the main stairs, it really didn't look like it was going to go their way. And then they collapsed into the site, they got the positions that they needed covered, and they won the round. And even then, in the second round, when it came down to a 2-2, they were still able to pull it back and win the round. So I think that that's definitely something, you know, credit where credit is due for REH, but it's also still, you know, they're very, very good at Oregon's attack. That I'm really not too surprised, and we're definitely going to have to see what North Star can do, not just throughout this half, but also the next half, which of course they're going to have to still play and attack on a slightly defender-sided Oregon, even against REH.
Yeah, and at the moment, I'm looking for North Star to really adapt and do something different. We can see they're back in basement. They're doing a meeting hold again. It is slightly different. I see some reinforcements moved around. I see some utility moved around. But ultimately, it's a very similar defense. And maybe this time around, they're thinking, if we don't lose that player early on split side, which at the moment, it's kind of risky with the way that Jaeger was peeking. But no, he actually does get a bit of damage onto Yana and fall back. Now he's playing in that same position where the first player was caught off last time they were down here. But a slightly different setup, still somewhat the same take, and Schnitte gets the opening kill, but he does get traded immediately by Pavlov, and so this time around a trade happening, and this is shaping up to be a bit better for Blue Jays already, as no, Booney is actually able to take down Pavlov as well, and so yet again, man advantage for Blue Jays, for REH instead. Rota is able to find Slash, and we've equalized again. There's just a back and forth continuously. Rota able to find a second. And so now it's only down to Tortilla and Booney, and they have still half the round left to play with, but not really a whole lot of map control to speak of at the moment.
Yeah, most of their players died in this sort of roam clear, where there really weren't too many roamers, but they really made it seem like there were way more than there were, and the flank, I think, here on the main stairs was really the one that was the most deadly. But now with the diffuser retrieved and a minute to go, pushing down these freezer stairs as well, trying to gain an entrance into the site. But so many of these angles are covered, and so many of these angles are being peeked through. Rudda, forced to note, is still on the flank, or still on a flank potential, as he's still roaming outside of the map, or outside of the bomb site rather. They are holding for that potential frag here inside the freezer, but of course, so much more for them still to do, and so many angles for them to peek through. Luckily, they have this bug, so they're able to break this wall open and maybe give themselves an entrance into the bomb site. That's exactly what they do. Being attacked from the pillar here. It is JT on the ward, and behind that pillar, Beauty makes his way into the bomb site, takes down one, but immediately traded out. It's all down to Tortilla now. Diffuser in hand, making his way into the bomb site. JT still behind the pillar, 1 HP at this point, taking Tortilla down to 1 HP as well, and Rudda now makes his way back into the bomb site, or back near the bomb site, rather. The plant being attempted here by Tortilla. Both players really not sure whether to peek or to push. Plant does stick it, and now they're going to be swinging it together.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser. Attackers
there goes the swing from Rudda, and he takes him down in the end. The diffuser will be disabled in the round. The first one here will be going to North Star. Although it was a little bit scrappy, I have to admit.
Yeah, but well played in that 2v1, able to play together. They're letting Booney, of course, go for that plant, which can be kind of risky because you're giving him control of the timer, right? You're giving him control of the clock, but at the same time, as long as you can retake together, as long as you can give him 2 targets, he's 1 HP. So as long as the Warden peeks first, he goes for a fight, the Oryx can clean it up. Doesn't really matter. And so off the back of Rota finding 2 kills in the mid round and able to just stabilize for North Star and able to keep that advantage, they're able to win the first round. Like you said, a little scrappy, but gotta commend REH. They were in a 2v3 and they really almost made that work going in from freezer, using the utility correctly, going in with that buck, able to open up that soft wall, getting into the site. Yana going down long haul, able to go for that one-for-one trade. And so, despite being at a disadvantage, REH are still trying to make this work, and you can tell that this is the experience that they have on this map.
Oh yeah, 100%, and definitely very, very well played from them. And now we are seeing them go to finally this top floor bomb site, which we've not seen them bring so far, and definitely very, very peculiar. Of course, I mentioned this earlier, is that you know, that basement side, bomb site, of course, definitely has always been the fan favorite, the one that
10 seconds
most
to
teams
insertion.
go to first, and the ones that teams really don't expect to be losing
5 seconds
pretty much
left.
ever. The top floor bomb site has been a really good
moving out
fallback,
to
really
locate a bomb
good
and
plan
defuse
B, favor for a lot of teams. Still, to see it be brought this late, and only after they've already played meeting and kitchen, is definitely very peculiar, and I really do love seeing it here being brought. And it's a pretty much default setup, I think, from what we can see. You know, those vertical placements and the walls being reinforced. You know, the shield is a bit strange, not really strange in terms of, you know, the actual utility, but just in terms of it's not very what's the word that I'm looking for?
Unconventional.
It's not, yes, it's not conventional. Thank you. But still, pretty much standard setup, and very aggressive here on the sort of site extension as Kato.
Oh, what is that scope, Kato? What is that site? No,
yeah,
no,
that
no,
is
no.
definitely a peculiar one. At least it's not, you know, the main hollow, or not the main hollow, the main red dot. You know, the one that's
Yeah.
thick. It's at
Drop
least
the
a new
bomb
one. Oh,
Okay,
and it
alright.
doesn't really matter because he gets the kill with it anyway.
I still don't like that site, but he makes it work somehow. And I guess the word for it would be unconventional. As that's definitely not a site that I would be using, but hey, personal preference. Do what you have to.
Yeah. True. Bit of a stall here now, coming up from REH. They tend to do this. They tend to slow it down and get those drones out, get the utility out, make sure they have everything in order, and it's definitely something that we're seeing from them here again. Tortilla holding back from this also shield and holding it down for any. Whoa, that is a bit of a scrappy one there. Oh, and unfortunately he just peeks at the wrong moment. It was two players peeking him at the same time. Bit of a fat finger there, and he gets his head taken clean off there by the Oryx, and now it leaves REH at even more of a disadvantage as they try to salvage something of this round.
Right, Slash has been big in finding some opening picks for the side of REH, but JT is going to get Schnitte, and Slash, he's going to be deterred from going up wide stairs by that Thorn Gadget, by that Razor Bloom. And so now we have the two entries just going into the kitchen together. Again, you can see REH, they're at a big disadvantage. They're in a 2v5. This is not really looking like they can win this, but at least they're trying something. They're playing together and they're trying to go for a play. It doesn't work out for them here. Zarata is able to find one more. There is a trade from Slash finally. Zarata does get taken out. Big player for North Star and finding some of these, or finding this round and the last one as well. So
15 seconds
able
to
to just slow the momentum of that player, even if it's just mental, because this round is
seconds to
all
go.
but over. This is definitely already going in the favor of North Stars. There we go. There's two pixel angles being held at the same time. You can see one through the barricade, and then one directly behind that shield, able to connect onto that last player. And very confident round from North Star, which makes you question, why didn't they go upstairs earlier?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I was already questioning it a little bit, just considering how strong of a site it is generally. It is definitely one of those sites in Siege, sort of, that you can get away with defending, even with a completely default ranked setup. It is definitely one of those very forgiving sites when, you know, for example, if you have a lot of subs that you're playing with, or it's just a completely off day that you're not comfortable with the way that you're playing, it is definitely one of those sites that is very forgiving and that you can win regardless. So, off the back of that, I was already questioning it, even more so now that we can see how dominant they can be and
Attackers
how
need to
much
locate and defuse bombs.
success they can find. Maybe it's something that they were aware of. They knew that this is something that they were really good at. And they knew that this was a site that they could win. So maybe they didn't want to waste it right away. They wanted to go for a maybe slightly unconventional site, or maybe try to win basement first, build themselves a bit of a base, and then take REH to top floor, knowing that that is a for sure win, that it is essentially a free round for them to even further build that lead. But nevertheless, whatever the reason may be, what just happened?
10 seconds left before insertion.
Oh no!
Oh, I think he fell from the. I think he fell from up
5
top.
seconds.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
He's lucky to have not gone down there. Sheesh. But yeah, as I was saying, whatever their reasoning may be, I'm glad to see them, you know, equalize.
Oh no!
What?
And Rata
Was that a
gets taken
swamp?
down immediately as
What
well.
is going-
I said Rota was instrumental in finding the 2 rounds that
Yeah.
Northstar has already, because he's been warming up, he's been getting into this, but now he got too confident. And he gets shut down hard.
Yeah.
And so very early on, Northstar, they lose that advantage. Their Oryx is down. It's the man that's been making the plays. And we can see Slash just going for an Amaro play directly into Kids, just going for that top floor control very early on. Able to get attic control as well. And just getting hot droned here at the same time as well. So good drone work coming in from REH, just getting some map control. And with that advantage, they're moving very quickly. Pavlov back on site. And with only 45 seconds, JT's already under pressure here in T3. And if he's not careful, he might get naded, as Schnitte is able to get another kill onto JM as well. JM down with 3 smokes in pocket, not able to use those. JT, if you just shoot here, you might be able to get that.
Yeah.
Nah, not quite, not quite. So now the player moves over. Gets
bomb
tagged
has
up
been
and actually
located.
finished off by Schnitte, who gets a second for himself in the round. Pavlov finally trades onto that. Trade comes through, but it might be too little too late, as Kato, he brought himself down to low HP in the prep phase, and Slash is the one that finishes it off, and so it's only down to Pavlov. And Tortilla takes him down through a long angle directly outside a split, and there we go. This is the REH that we've seen in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. That is definitely a round that you'd expect REH to
Oh, no,
put
it
a
was.
team down that way. But I think for that round, you can definitely say it. Because first of all, Katu bringing himself down to 1 HP immediately by, unfortunately, falling off the railing upstairs in the tower, playing the frost and putting down some frost traps there, of course, wanting to get down quicker. So losing a lot of HP there, that already puts Northstar at a bit of a backhand. And then Rada getting taken down by counter spawn peak, and then the rest of them just followed. Pavlov took a lot of damage as well in an early gunfight.
Defenders,
Then
protect your bombs from being
JT just
defused
being
by
very
attackers.
unsure of how to play that position upstairs in the tall tower, and it all sort of just fell apart. They were just falling down like dominoes. REH was very, very good to capitalize off of that and not let them, get away with being, so silly and being so aggressive. But also, Northstar, I
Bomb
think,
located
maybe
by attacker.
got a little bit carried away with the momentum that they might have felt from round 2, well, not from round 2, but from the round previous that they won, and that was, pretty dominant from them. I think
10
that
seconds.
probably had a factor in that, especially from Rudda. I mean, you said it yourself, him
5
getting a
seconds
little
left
bit
before
too
insertion.
too overzealous there with that spawn peak. Definitely didn't help
Attackers are heading
anything.
out
And
to
well,
defuse the bomb.
what do we see on the horizon for REH? It's a blitz, it's a Capitao, it's a Lion. I do not like what I'm seeing. Or do I actually?
I see a construction spawn. This I think this might be exactly what you think it is. But you gotta be careful, of course. There is a meeting hold, and this meeting hold is made to counter a blue hold, right? So you see that already Elbow is reinforced off, so BLUEJAYS not choosing to play there. And instead, this rush is gonna have to go toward pillar side, as actually the Capitao is moving over to Elbow. He might be able to go for a hard breach on that wall together with Tortilla. Opening pick goes to Kato, and they don't have hatch control here on meeting. This might be somewhat risky. There's still that shield and pillar that's being fought over. Opening pick does go in the favor of Northstar if they take down gaps. Rota gets injured though, gets traded by Booney. And now very early on we have a bit of blue control. Booney is inside of tower, but no, he gets taken down by Pavlov, and so hatch control is still firmly in the favor of the defensive side, and Pavlov is able to find another player from that hatch. And now trying to go in from elbow using that utility on the Capitao, but it's too little too late. He's the last one alive. He's in a 1v4, and JT takes him down through those angles, and there we go. I mean, you said you didn't really like what you were seeing. I think I agree.
I mean, that really didn't go the way that they planned it at all. And if we talked about Northstar getting a little too excited and a little too trigger happy after the round that they won,
Oh, yes.
I don't even know what to say that about REH there. And I mean,
yeah, I mean,
it was a good and bad place to do it. Sort of like, okay, well, we have the slight advantage on rounds and everything. But, so, if it works out, we take the round with the lead, or we take the half with the lead. If we don't make it work, we're not really losing anything. Especially because they're going on to the defensive side of Oregon. But I still question pretty much everything about that plan and about the execution of it as well.
Well, I mean, there's two options there, I think, of
Attackers
what
need to
went
locate
wrong
and
in the
defuse
thinking of
bombs.
REH. I think one possible option is that they thought to themselves, you know, North Star went for a meeting hold on basement twice. Surely they're not gonna do it, and so it was a misread. Hold works because when you play with that hatch open and you reinforce off elbow, a blue push doesn't really work. That's the whole point of that meeting hold. You play with the hatch open so that you have blue control. You make all of these holes instead of, you know, E-box, so that a blue push is completely off the cards for the defenders, or for the attackers, sorry. So that they have to go for something else, right? And so it's either a bad read not knowing what that meeting hold is for, or it's a bad read thinking that, you know, North Star, they might adapt, but they ended up not doing so. And so either way, just kind of ended up mind gaming yourself.
I definitely agree with that. And well, hopefully REH are going to have a bit of a better time than they did in that round here coming into their defensive path. Already bringing something quite different. They're bringing that Azania to the side at all from the side of North Star, and of course bringing that top floor defense as well, which we saw from North Star only once, and it was already pretty late into the half as well. So see REH already bring it out, and it's again one of those sites that I said can be won, which is the default take, which this doesn't seem to be. That Thorn imperative as well to this defense, of course, catching them off guard. Beauty taking that first kill here on the flank, taking down another one as well. That 1.5 just hit so hard. Immediately shut down, however, the scope, although it is good, did cover up the attackers there, and he was not able to see them fully, so he does get taken down, but not before the damage has already been done, taking down not only the air jabs on the side of Arata, but also taking down those grenades inside of in the pocket of JM. So definitely putting quite a dent into this attack, and so is Slash as he takes down Pavlov, who was a little bit caught off guard there by it. 2 versus 4 here now for North Star, and they're pretty disjointed here, the 2 remaining attackers. One of them still trying to push up that front side, the other maybe trying to push up from the backside, and that's definitely not what you want, even though they do have operators that, you know, if you were really stuck with 2 operators, I feel like these were the 2 operators that you'd probably want, although a Buck or a Iana with the nades wouldn't do too bad either.
I mean, either way, it's still a 2v4. It doesn't really matter. You have 2 guns. I mean, sure, the utility is nice, but you have to make something work with just forcing a gunfight somewhere, and then you have to be able to come out on top in those gunfights as well. At the moment, it looks like you can see North Star just rotating around a bit, just going for opportunity spotting. They've got 50 seconds. They can technically use this as a bit of a timeout. Well, of course, this is still possible. It's somewhat unlikely, and so they're just gonna play it passive. If any opportunity presents itself, jump on it, go for it. Otherwise, just continue sitting outside, waiting for opportunities. Wait for the round to end. Maybe talk about the next one. Maybe just slow it down. Just give REH some time to think, which might be dangerous, but at the same time, I mean, it gives you some time to think. Schnitte, he's able to connect onto one, he's able to connect onto the second, he finds both of them. Very disconnected jump into 2 different windows. And so REH, they take their very first defense, and they regain the lead on their own map pick here.
Yeah, and it was definitely not looking all that well. I think that the difference that we can already tell, you know, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell the difference between 2 teams and the way that they attack or the way that they defend, you know, this early on into the half. But something that I would definitely count as a pretty on when it came to REH attacking is that they would, you know, even if they started out very aggressive early on, they would always slow it down at that mid-round. They would get those drones out, they get the utility out, and they would make sure that they had information no matter what they were doing. That is definitely not something that I saw there from North Star. The fact that, I think that was Buni with the Thorn that was able to just completely tear through them on that bottom floor, where it wasn't even the fact that they were losing those gunfights, it was the fact that they were completely caught off guard by his presence there in the first place. And that points to one thing for me, and that is the fact that they didn't drone, or that they didn't have flank drone set up. They didn't really have an idea of what to do. And even in the very, very early round, we could see Rudda with the air jabs pushing up those pushing up those white stairs with his entire team behind him. It was the entire team of attackers well, not the entire team, but it was 3 attackers all pushing up those white stairs at the same time. No drone ahead of them to spot out the Thorn gadgets that were actually slowing them down, and then also pushing up behind that air jab gadget as well. It was all very confusing, and I don't really understand why they decided to do that. But it definitely didn't showed to me that they had the information that they wanted to maybe pull off a white rush or to just even be in the position that they wanted to be in. And if that continues, I think that that could really be a problem for North Star. I mean, droning is one of the basics of Siege, and to not utilize that to their full potential is definitely could be an issue.
Alright, I'm curious to see what Pavlov is going for. We're taking early meeting control. This is good pace from North Stars. There's no meeting control being held by REH, so they're just giving this up for free. So Hatch might be open relatively early on, as there is Harbridge gadgets in the pocket of JT, and so getting meeting control in basement is something that you really want to do as an attacker pretty much every time, as long as you're going from top down. There's even some EMPs to deny a Kite if he was in play. It's of course not being picked by REH, as they're not really trying to counter a take such as this one, but they are still able to counter it with their guns, and so Rota is the first one that goes down, Slash able to find that pick and takes a bit of damage in return, but he's still playing his power position on bottom pillar. He seems to be very confident around that. We have a lot of Wardens really liking to play around that pillar, and we can see the reason why. There's some Yink Candelas coming in, and this is exactly why they do this. And it looks like there's a blue take coming in as Booney goes down to JM, and JM is actually able to find two, and suddenly we have man advantage. JM, he's in for triple kill, and with half the round still to go, we have complete elbow control, huge man advantage for North Star, and they're looking to take this round. Tortilla, he's still inside a side. Gaps is still playing up above on the hatches. He's retaken the hatch from up above, but now another player goes down. JT, he's able to find one as well. And so JM and JT just cleaning up this round. JT now going for a plan. Gaps has to try and go back to side desperately, but there's no way that he can close this out because he's going to be in a post plant with a Monty. And so this round is all but over. And it looks like North Star, off of an early control of meeting, they just take blue by storm. And REH not really ready for that. A much better blue take than what REH tried on their attack.
Yeah, definitely much better. And here we go. Just a bit of a timeout within the round here for REH's. Gaps is just going to sit here inside a garage knowing that there's really not much that he can do. I mean, whichever way he pushes down, there will be a gun waiting for him. And there's also a mirror window waiting for him as well. So there's really no way for him to really do anything about anything here. REH will be taking this moment to discuss things and to maybe, you know, not necessarily talk through this round, but maybe even set up the next round. Nevertheless, a very, very dominant round here from not that confident. I think maybe the only time that we can count that was when they were defending top floor. Apart from that, you know, even the rounds that they won were sort of scrappy and not really that confident, but that one was, they knew what they were doing, and well, they did it all. And it was also really, really good read for them. And you mentioned this about them, you know, pushing straight into the meeting, taking that space very early on, opening up that hatch and setting themselves up for that execute. It was a good read from them to understand, okay, they're not defending meeting at all, they're not defending rear stage at all. Let's just go take that space and push in from there. It was very, very well executed, and now REH are going to have to try and defend that bomb site again. Hopefully this time with a little bit more mind about how they're actually going to play this out, and maybe a little bit of a counter play as well when it comes to that hatch play. Although they're not bringing out Warden this time, which could be a bit of an issue considering that they are still playing that Ying, and I think that is something that you can expect. I mean, if a team brings the Ying once, you can be sure they're going to bring it again, especially on the same bomb site attack. But nevertheless, let's see how this one goes for REH now, with the addition of Goyo, who will definitely be imperative in slowing down Pavlov on that Monty.
Yeah, I like the addition of the Goyo to slow down that blue take, because we saw, you know, of course, JM in that previous round just moving in through blue into elbow, getting 3 kills, just opening up the round wide for North Star. And so this time around, putting down some Goyo canisters, some Vulcans, to make sure that that doesn't happen a second time. So a little bit of adaptation coming out of REH, just enough to, you know, fix the biggest flaw in their previous attempt at defending this. And this is what I like, small little adaptations. You don't completely change your setup. Instead, you just change one small aspect of it. That's what adaptability is. Otherwise, of course, you always have the option of just bringing out an entirely different strat, but we can see REH not choosing to go for that. An early knife kill as Gaps is able to find the Monty, as he was, I think, trying to go for a barricade knife. Pavlov is putting a question mark in chat. Gaps is following that up as well. I think there's a lot of questions to be asked on what happened on T2 there. I guess we will never know. Pavlov is not happy about that. I can understand. As a Monty player, I understand the pain. not really happy with getting knifed when you're playing the Monty, because you should be the one that's bashing them, not them bashing you. And so, a bit of a difference. I think
really sad that
ping
we
plays
didn't get
into
to
this
see
a
that.
lot.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that. I really don't know what happened there. Apparently, it was a difference in POV. Again, as you said, the ping definitely plays a bit of a play there as well. Engagement here coming out here on the front side. That is Slash still trying to engage here on the mid floor. Pushing them back a little bit, but still not really deterring them from their plan. JT pushing those, putting those can openers down on the hatch, getting that one open, and giving North Star the exact bit of entrance that they need. Meanwhile, Slash having to rotate around here. Popping one of those Vulcan canisters, knowing that there's probably going to be somebody pushing down here in a second. There go the Candelas, and there goes the blind spots from everywhere. I think that was Slash trying to rotate it back into the bomb site, getting hit by an air jab, and JT completely unaware of the air jab. Slash is on an absolute tear, takes down 2. It's all down to Katu and JM with that diffuser now lost inside of meeting, effectively in control of the defense. JM tries to push in, gets taken down by Booney on that SMG-11. It'll be Slash to find the 3rd victim of that Uzi to find the final one of the round. REH take a significant lead here with 5 rounds to 3, I believe, or 5 rounds to 4. Yes, 5 rounds to 4. Step away from match point, and really only a couple steps away from taking this first map, which really is not going to bode well for North Star going onto the second map. Of course, they're going to be in the disadvantage. The only sort of redeeming quality of that is the fact that they will be going on the Chalet, which is their map pick, so it all still could turn around, and we still could be seeing Theme Park. But North Star, regardless of whether this is their map pick or not, do not want to let REH run away with it. It just, you know, it definitely messes up with that power dynamic and with that momentum. You know, sometimes teams can, you know, gather the momentum from one map, even if it was their you know, pick, and then going on to what, you know, isn't their pick and still be able to take it away. So North Star definitely want to keep this one close and not really let REH run away with it. But nevertheless, we're going to be seeing REH here on the defensive side yet again on the top floor, which last time it was misplay after misplay coming up from North Star. And hopefully this time they're not going to be, you know, they're not going to fall apart the way that they did, and hopefully we see a bit more droning coming up from them. This is something that I counted as a really big mistake coming up from North Star back when they attacked this bomb site the first time. Hopefully it's going to go a little bit better, and they're not going to be
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
so they're not going to be lacking as much information as they were back then.
Alright, we're going on to top floor. Haven't seen this one as much as I thought we would, you know. Being Oregon and all, I would expect that this would be one of the top picked sides, together with Basement, of course. As Basement can be somewhat shaky. It's been a little back and forth in the current meta. There's been a lot of answers and a lot more new questions that can be put up from the defenders, and so it's kind of difficult to tell who can win out these rounds. But not to be. There's been quite a bit of play around meeting, and we can see in the difference between these two teams and their playstyles that North Star really seems to like meeting, and REH seems to want to ignore meeting as much as possible. And so these two playstyles collide in a somewhat awkward way, where there's one team that always wants control of it, and one team that just kind of plays around it whenever they have to, like Slash here, dropping down that hatch, trying to go for a flank. So he goes into meeting, but he's out of there immediately because he wants to go for a big flank instead of kitchen. So Kato, he's in down below. He's on the chase. He might be aware that the Valkyrie is trying to go for a flank over on that kitchen side, so he's gonna hunt. He's gonna try and see if he can maybe shoot Slash in the back, as Pavlov is the one that gets the opening pick onto Schnitte. And I think, I'm not sure where Schnitte went down, but certainly BLUEJAYS now have control of server, and there we go. Kato, he goes for that flank. Just really slowly walked all the way around, got rid of Slash, and we have a big man advantage for North Star and much better information this time around. You said that their droning was a little bad in some of these rounds, and this time around, no matter the droning, the information game was certainly there. They knew exactly where these players were, took them down with ease. None of them were even properly looking the right way. And so with 1:10 to go, big advantage. Now we can see a bit of a rotation coming through from North Star. They're looking to rotate for front side, looking to go for that master bedroom, for that trophy. And so REH, they gotta go for a play here if they want to hold on.
Yeah, here we go. The pressure is coming up from that front side, but it's also coming up those white stairs. Booney escapes death there just narrowly, as there was a player on those white stairs just a second ago. Had to run away, I do believe, due to a thorn gadget, but now he's back up there. There goes a grenade, gets caught by the magnet, but so many kills are coming out all at the same time. It's all down to Gaps on top of this cupboard. I don't even know how he made it up there, but now in a 1 versus 5, Plant going down, and he knows it. Not much he can do. He knows there's a player inside a trophy. He waits patiently, finds one, can't quite find the second one on those white stairs. The round will go to North Star to equalize the scoreline yet again. And what a complete collapse that was. I wasn't even able to capture everything that was going on because the pressure came in from 2 sides all at the same time. Actually, it might have even been 3. They might have been inside of Attic as well. And there was just nothing at all that REH could do, especially when they were already at a man disadvantage. Very, very well played from North Star, and you said it, information game was absolutely on point here for North Star.
Yeah, especially for the roamers, but even when it came to the execute, you know, a JM just getting very unfortunate with timing. That nade getting caught by the magnet as he's wide swinging, and he sees the player not even looking at him out in the open, the thorn, and he's not able to find that kill as Kato just beats him to it. And so Kato luckily able to clean that up, able to find a triple for himself in the round, really making good work of that DMR there. But JM, I feel really bad for that nade. That timing was very awkward.
Yeah, that was really awkward. Luckily, he didn't die to it, though. Yeah. It's definitely one of those things that happen to you, you know, sometimes when you're playing, and you end up dying to it. Like, the player's not looking at you, throw a grenade, it gets caught by a magnet, you get so lost in your head, and then you end up getting shot by, you know, either the player that wasn't even looking at you to begin with, or somebody else that's nearby, and it definitely stings when it happens there. So, you know, it's a bit, you know, of a rough wound there, knowing that was essentially a free kill there, but, you know, better that than dying, I'd
It hurts
say.
the pride more than anything.
Yeah, that's true. But here we go with the meeting defense, which I do believe we've only seen so far once from North Star, and it was very, very scrappy. It looked like it might go their way, but then ended up being a clutch play coming out. I do believe that was Booney there on the Ossa all the way back. I don't know, that was round 3 maybe. Seeing it again is definitely good, and it looks like REH going for a pretty different setup here. Not playing it as disjointed as we saw North Star play, where they sort of had their players all over the place.
Yeah, right. A bit of a slower round this time around. That meeting hold seems to have just given North Star a bit of trouble as they're slowly working their way forward, but Tortilla is the one that gets the opening pick onto JM. JM goes down, Tortilla going for an aggressive fight onto the player inside of T2. He's not going to be able to win that one out as Pavlov takes him down. That aggressive hold not working out as Slash is able to find another one onto Rota. Gaps is able to take down Pavlov with a C4. I think that was through the holes downstairs. I think through the reinforcement, probably through the breach. Up that soft wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
And so
Wow.
man
That's
advantage
a good
now.
throw,
Yeah.
gotta say.
Again, firmly in favor of REH, and we're looking to trade rounds. We're just going back and forth, back and forth. I've seen these two before, Kato and JT in a clutch situation in a 2v4. Last time it didn't pan out so well for them. And again, this time around, not really enough control gain to make anything work with this, so just going for opportunity spotting, slowing it down, just waiting for REH to make a mistake. But the problem is both of these teams are quite passive. REH is a little more aggressive on defense, but overall both these teams have been playing very, very passive. And so their playstyles match in that regard. And the problem with that is that you're not going to find any openings. Once somebody has man advantage, it's pretty much over. If there's a 2v4, it's hard to open that back up because you have to force a mistake. And if you don't have the utility to do that, there's no way that they can make this work. So JT opens up that wall into meeting. 40 seconds still on the clock, and we have a player close inside a split now, but the question is, can you play around that?
Speaking of the utility, they make use of it, but unfortunately there was not enough information for them to know the shit that was right there inside. That was Slash inside of Split. That was all the way on the back on the stage, and Well, very well played there. The close angle and the long angle all at the same time to get them the round win. While you were talking about them being in that clutch position, and definitely a very, very good point about, you know, the passiveness of both of these teams. I had a thought, you know, okay, well, you know, last time they had the Thermite and the Lion, they were attacking top floor. It was the same situation. It was very, very difficult to make a lot of those things happen. Here, I think that they had more utility that they could actually use, and we did see a little bit of that actually being done. You know, of course, they had the impact TMPs, they had still both of the exothermic charges left in pocket of the Thermite, so they were able to break that wall open, give themselves in inches into the site. They also still had smokes that they could have been able to use to further cover themselves up. Both Talonate shields were still up, so there was quite a lot of utility there left on their side, but unfortunately, you know, I sort of flamed them a little bit for it before, and this time I don't think that it really came down to the information itself as much as the fact that they just didn't have enough people with drones still in play to be able to really do anything with it. I think that round could have played completely differently considering the utility and the time that they still had they had a little bit more information about the positioning of those players. But, you know, that's how it goes in Siege, you know. Once you're down for that utility, and, you know, drones, I would say, are probably the biggest part of that utility package of an attacking team.
5 seconds left.
There's really not much that you can do. We just saw that showcase, but now REH on map point. 6 rounds for them. They only need this one more final win to be able to take this one home. And North Star now going back to their old attacking ways of just trying to take this meeting, but it looks like REH are a little bit too prepared for that now, and it might not go their way. Let's see how it plays out for North Star.
Alright, Pavlov, like you said, we're going to the old ways. We're doing what worked the first time around. So just getting control of tower, getting control of meeting early on, pushing those players back down, just not letting them aggress. As Kato's actually picking a fight with a player inside of Garage. Slash, he's 12 and 6. He's very aggressive. He's trying to find these early picks. He's really making use of that 1.5x that has recently been added to Thorn's, what is that, a 50 cal Uzi? And just, you know, very hard-hitting weapon. And at the same time, that new 1.5x that allows you to take some gunfights outside against a Thatcher that's just trying to get in the building. And so it does waste a bit of time, but ultimately nothing else. Slash does want to stay alive. He doesn't want to give this round away too easily, as North Star just shaping up to do the usual meeting take. They've got meeting control. They've got the hatch open. They're going to play that Ying around there again, most likely. You can see the Nomad there as well, and might be going for a blue take as well, as actually one player rotating away from it. And so just still some time left to play with, but at the moment, no openings anywhere. Just waiting.
Wow, that was an outside throw of that EMP, and it still hit the utility that was inside of the map. That is very, very good map knowledge coming out from North Star. That's not something you don't see too often. I don't know how much it really did. I think that was to disable the ADSs there, but it really didn't do much, as they didn't go for any utility getting thrown out there. And there we go. Slash tried to go for that flank. It worked for him before. This time, not so much. He gets finished off by a pistol there. And here we go now. There goes a lot of that utility getting thrown up. Tortilla will find JT. Candelas are coming out, and now they're aggressing through this blue side, and JM will find one. Immediately traded out, however. 3 versus 3 now. Katu still trying to push up from these from this blue side. Pablo pushing down the stairs. There goes the drop from the hash from Rudda as well. To 3v3, blind in this gunfight. Pablo will find him with a pistol. It's all done to Booney now. No smoke, Babe's left in pocket, but it doesn't matter, as he finds one anyway. Schnitt as well trying to help him from the backside. 2 versus 2 yet again, but of course it's the Monty and the Thatcher. They could go for a plant here, especially as both players, or both defenders, are still pushed back. There goes the plant. C4 coming out as well. There goes the swing. They find one. Oh my goodness, it's Pavlov in a 1v1.
Oh my god, Pavlov! There's no way! There's no way that you do that!
All you had to do was run. No way. I mean, I say all you had to do was run, but there really wasn't anywhere to run. If he had tried to jump to rotate, there's a very, very good chance that he would have gotten shot through the wall anyway. But still, that is, you talked about it hurts the pride. That one hurts the pride so much, knowing that that is the way that you lose it. The round that you needed to win the map, and now you have to go play another, potentially 3 more rounds of this map when you just wanted to move on. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. But nevertheless, North Star take it in an unbelievable fashion there. And a timeout requested by them as well to slow it down a little bit and to talk about everything that's been going on and to maybe set themselves up for a bit of a better attack here. Of course,
that timeout didn't come through in time.
Not go. Yeah, the timeout did not get requested in time, so it will only come through at the end of this round, which, in fairness, is still not a bad position for it to get, you know, sort of deployed. Of course, they will be going back onto the defense. We haven't seen them on defense in 7 rounds. So that, you know, is a completely different ballpark, especially now after they've gotten so much information about the way that REH plays, not only from the first half, but also from the second half. There's a lot of information that you gain just from seeing a team play, regardless of which side they play. But also, you know, should they lose this round, it gives them the opportunity of taking that time out, seeing what went wrong and what they can fix. And if they win it, you know, again, I say they're going into a completely different half, which they did not win the last time that they played defense. So it definitely, you know, is a good time for that timeout to come out, even if it didn't come out when they, you know, ideally would have wanted it to.
Yeah, but the main thing here is how do you lose that clutch to the Monty? I mean, when that C4
that
came out to the Thatcher, it was over. It was all but over. And the Monty comes in and just goes for that knife on 0 seconds on the clock. There was absolutely no time left, and I don't know how Pavlov does that, but he does it. He's 13-7, even though he's been playing the Monty every now and then, so he's been putting in massive work for Blue Jays. North Star here is we're moving into overtime. This I don't know how you allow this to happen. This is your map, REH. You should have closed this out in regulation. Now we're in overtime. This gives me flashbacks to when we threw bank against Lumina, and I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, it definitely does sometimes happen, and I think that this is what we're gonna be seeing more and more often as the playoffs come through longer. Is teams losing their map picks, or, you know, taking the map picks to overtime. Oh, he doesn't even know that he downed him there. He's gonna be retrievable, as he's of course not gonna re-peek that. But that could have been a very, very good opener there. Of course, taking down the grenades, taking down the sledge, taking down JM, who has been very, very crucial for a lot of these round wins for North Star, but unfortunately it's not gonna happen. But as I was saying, is that, you know, these are the best of the best right now of Revival, is all of the teams that are currently in the playoffs. So I think this is something that we're going to be seeing more and more often as the further that we get into the competition, is that teams are just going to be so good against each other and going to have such good reads that to be relying solely on the fact that it is your map pick to know that you're going to win it is just, I think at this point, silly. Gaps finally taking down the player that was down for a long period of time and nobody even knew. 55 seconds to go. Pavlov inside of attic, getting shot from every which way, somehow staying alive. And now trying to put a bit of pressure from the vertical end of things. Slash getting taken down by Rudda as well. That time dwindling down more and more, but they're still in the driver's seat for the time being, and all of that is being taken away so quickly. Tortilla taking one down and rotating all the way back down, knowing that he doesn't really need to stick around for it to make his bullets count. 20 seconds to go, and North Star are really scrambling to find anything of this round to salvage.
Alright, here we see some smokes. Still got some smokes through the execute. JT is going to have to drop that hatch, but Tortilla takes down Kato, and so now JT, he drops the hatch, he gets one. Gaps gets another. He's trying to go for that plant, but no, Schnitzer takes him down from Green Hall, and there we go. REH, after just about giving up the map, they're back in control. They're back on match point, and we'll move into a bit of a timeout now.
Yeah, now the timeout will get deployed finally from North Star, who tried to have it happen before. And wow, this is the first time that I'm seeing the timeout, or actually it's the first time that I'm casting at all since the new update that is released, I think a week ago or something like that. And they finally fixed the timeout screen, so it doesn't look all wonky now with nothing displayed. Definitely a good change, something that I missed throughout pretty much the entire season. But nevertheless, yeah, B just having to take a bit of a timeout here is, of course, that didn't really go the way that they wanted it to that round. But again, as I said before, it's a good place for that timeout to get deployed, as now they're going back on the defense. They haven't defended in 7 rounds, and I think if they have their wits about them, they're going to go to top floor. I feel like that is absolutely crucial for them to do, as considering it is the only round that they won where it wasn't scrappy and it didn't look like it was going to go anybody's way. You know, barring that 6th round where REH tried to go for a rush and completely failed. I think we just don't count that round at all. And, okay, there we go.
I saw the laundry, and for a second I was like...
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You played top 4 once, you won it once, it worked out for you, you're taking this time out now to just have a moment to think it through, but how about we go laundry for like the 10th time today?
Yeah.
There's also that option,
good
but
lord.
okay. No, they do go with your advice. I'm glad they're taking your advice. Very smart choice
Me
to
too.
do. It was a very confident victory last time around they were here on top floor, as you pointed out. It was pretty much over before the round even fully started.
Attackers need to
and so
locate and defuse bombs.
just get this round over with. Then we got